Hello and welcome to The Report, Cal State Fullerton's premier source for news, views, and info. I'm Evan Boydston.
I'm Michelle Gao.
And I'm Shayera Arias.
And I'm Nicholas Garcia. On today's episode, we'll be discussing the latest on the Bayer-Monsanto merger.
We'll also be bringing you the latest on the New York and New Jersey bombing.
And we'll be bringing you the latest on ISIS and its possible use of chemical weapons.
All this and more on today's episode of The Report.
Before we delve into our first hot topic, we'd like to invite you to be a part of the discussion this semester season. Click on the link in the caption of any of our report episodes to fill out a secure Google form with your opinion on any controversial issue that we've talked about, now or in the past, as many of these issues are recurring and evolving, ranging from gun control to abortion, climate change, or the state of politics right now. All we ask is to please keep it civil, and as with any essay, cite your sources.
German drug and crop chemical maker Bayer finalized a $66 billion takeover of the U.S. seeds company Monsanto. After months of negotiations, this marks the largest all-cash deal on record. The consolidation of the two megacorporations has emerged due to shifting weather patterns, intense competition in grain exports, and a soaring global farm economy. While grain prices are hovering near their lowest levels in years amid global supply surplus and farm incomes plunge. The German company is aiming to create a one-stop shop for seeds, crop chemicals, and computer-aided services to farmers. However, Bayer is aware of Monsanto's crippled reputation and may possibly drop it completely in order to keep their name from being tainted. Opponents of the merger have argued that combining both companies will drive up prices for farmers and increase the spread of genetically modified seeds. Bayer and Monsanto counter that argument by stating that by combining both companies, they will be able to research new products that will help farmers produce more food. U.S. regulators say food from genetically engineered plants is as safe as that from non-genetically engineered sources. As more and more companies are being bought up by corporations, what do you guys think are going to be the repercussions to this exact merger?
Well, for this, I get why they're doing it because, they have the capital to do it. This was a huge all-cash deal. It's absolutely insane. But the thing is, this has to be approved by other entities across the world. They have to approve of this deal, and if it doesn't go through, then they'll have to pay $2 billion to Bayer, or to Monsanto if the deal doesn't go through. But it's just the problem with all the consolidation is I feel like it's going to prevent from innovation, because when you keep merging companies together, once you buy up the competition, then what's the point of keep trying to go ahead? The whole point of competition is to keep pushing each other to the next level. So, I get why they want to do it because they want to be the leading standard, but then what's after that? I know they're trying to counter it, saying that they're going to have that much more, X amount of funds to go for innovation, but I get it, but I don't like it because I'm not a fan of just this consolidation.
Absolutely, this
culture.
Monopoly.
Yeah.
Monopoly culture that we're seeing in so many corporations, and unfortunately that makes it much worse for small farmers. The prices are going to go up. There's no competition. We need competition in businesses like that, and that's lacking when stuff like this happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of people are also really skeptical about the situation because this is going to give Monsanto much more financial backing to continue doing what they do, which is not something that people don't support GMOs. So I think that that's one of the reasons why it's also such a big deal, because it's pushing that movement forward rather than backwards. Instead of, I would say, introducing more organic products and healthier ways to create crops, it's the complete opposite.
Well, I would say for the GMOs, there are people who do support it because there are no actual evidence. There's only suspicions that they are harmful to the human public versus GMOs. But I also wanted to bring up that Evan's point about them merging. There is evidence that shows that companies, when they are combined into one specific diverse company, they aren't valued as high as, say, two specific companies.
Because of like innovation and
That
everything.
allows for more competition.
So what would you think maybe if in the future, should this get passed, what the value of the company would be once Bayer?
Well, I think that's the whole point.
Monsanto?
I think they're trying to set the standard, and the whole point. Like I remember Teddy Roosevelt and his trust busting. He was breaking up companies from
Right.
doing this. That we already have gone through problems of this before. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. But in regards to Monsanto, like they have a monopoly on a huge percentage of just seeds and everything.
Yes.
And if they find out that you are using their seeds and you didn't get them licensed from them, they will literally go to your farm and burn your crops
Yes.
down. And which is absolutely ridiculous.
Yes.
And because there is a surplus, instead of just giving the food away to like I don't know like a continent like Africa where there's just like starvation problems, they'll burn it and they'll just get rid of it just to fix the prices and everything.
Absolutely.
That's why they have a terrible name. The Monsanto is just absolutely atrocious.
Kind of
It is
take almost a
atrocious.
different point on it, what we haven't really mentioned yet is, we're kind of stuck with GMOs here, but in Europe, they're really, really frowned upon. So it'd be interesting to see how the success of
Yeah, that's
Monsanto and their
nice.
GMO seeds would do in other countries like Europe, where they really push for more organic.
Germany is completely against this.
Bayer's a German company.
So they're very much against pretty much anything that has to do with GMOs.
Yeah,
But there was
absolutely.
also an interesting article from Bloomberg that said buying Monsanto would actually allow Bayer to tap growing demand because farmers need to boost productivity, which is why I believe GMOs is so popular, because it helps with the growing population. They're estimated to feed an approximate 10 million people globally by 2050.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Personally, GMOs are needed, I guess, in our country because we have so many foreign insects and everything that have kind of taken over and gone into habitats that they're not supposed to be in. So we kind of need them right now, unfortunately. But moving on to our next hot topic, a 28-year-old Ahmad Khan Rahami was charged with planting a number of bombs in New York City and New Jersey. One of the devices exploded in Manhattan's neighborhood and wounded 31 people. An affidavit claims that he began buying bomb components in June, purchasing citric acid, circuit boards, ball bearings, and electric igniters on eBay. In a statement, the online auction site said that it was, quote, proactively working with law enforcement authorities on their investigation, end quote. The company later added, quote, the types of items bought by the suspect are legal to buy and sell in the United States and are widely available at online and offline stores, end quote. The court filings also included excerpts from a handwritten journal found on Rahami following his arrest Monday. Multiple sources told Fox News that Rahami visited Afghanistan at least 3 times. Before the federal charges were filed, Rahami was already being held on $52 million bail, charged with the attempted murder of police officers during a shootout that led to his capture Monday outside a bar in Linden, New Jersey. So are these charges adequate for terrorists? Like, how does the U.S. stop this from actually happening again? Is this actually something that is like,
Well, after Monday, we're going to have the debate between Hillary and Donald. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they're opposing arguments towards it. So Hillary is much more to diminish those that are already being radicalized or to diminish radicalization in general. Whereas like Donald Trump, what he wants is to just completely stop Muslims from coming into the country. So I think that as far as your question, no, because this is something that he did with the intention of blowing up as many people as he could. I think that they should look into that much more, because if he were to be charged as just, the way that he might possibly be charged because he is a civilian and everything else, and because nobody technically died, I still think that he should have much higher. To be condemned should be much higher.
Well, yeah,
because
like,
it was a terrorist attack.
With his intentions and everything. Unfortunately, he is a naturalized citizen, so he is able to get the same rights as a U.S. citizen.
That's when it gets
But
touchy.
yeah, and it's just unfortunate. But you bring up the point about the debate. I've noticed that Donald Trump tends to rise in the polls when things like this happens because of his authoritative kind of take on this issue and everything. So it'll be really interesting during the debates and whatnot. But in regards to also it's not against Muslims, it's more against countries that have been compromised by
Yeah.
radical Islam. So
Because they're trying to also figure out when was he radicalized. He did a few trips, like you said, to Afghanistan. He also
There
went,
was in 2014 when his father did try to reach out to the FBI.
and they didn't pay any
They
attention
didn't
to
either.
that.
And his wife also came out. She's being cooperative. I think she recently came back, and she was saying that she noticed too that he was all of a sudden being very
no,
strange.
the wife, and the mother left, and they left 2 days before this happened.
Right.
But first of all, they should have watched when he went back to Afghanistan 3 times. That didn't raise any questions.
Yeah.
The scary thing too now is he doesn't necessarily, or anybody necessarily has to go to a different country where ISIS is predominant because of the internet and because of social media. They can access it right there at their
They
home
can be
computer.
radicalized like that.
Just
and
like that.
and even what he used, he bought everything
Anybody
from
could go on
eBay.
eBay.
So it's true. A lot of really, really young people right now are being radicalized through the internet. That's very true.
Well, that's why I think like Donald Trump does have a point with countries being compromised by radical Islam. I think we really do need to take that seriously and take that into account because it's just very unfortunate.
You know, one of his consistent points is we need a vetting process. We have a vetting process. We just need to be using it and really make sure that we're vetting these people.
I just don't think
coming
we're
into our
efficient
country.
as a government, regardless.
Unfortunately, we need to really put in some more, backbone in those vetting processes.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm actually this is one of the first times where the terrorist is still alive. So it'll be interesting to actually delve
See
into
how it plays
his
out.
brain and see what happened because
Absolutely.
there is kind of a trend with terrorists that they've been noticing with their bank accounts and everything. So it'd be interesting now that we have one alive, we can actually see what's
Exactly.
going on.
Do you agree? Oh, sorry. Do you agree with? We mentioned earlier that he was being tried as a citizen. Do we believe that terrorists should be under a different process when they're tried?
Absolutely.
Well, I mean,
That's fine.
It gets so
my
touchy.
answer is yes,
Yes.
but
Yes.
unfortunately,
But in the eyes of the law,
in the eyes of the
morally,
law.
I say yes, but legally, you have to say.
we have to. Unfortunately, here it's if you're the victim, you're the victim until you're actually like tried. So, which is absolutely terrible, and it's the fact that it's $5.2 million for his bail. That would be
5.2.
5.2. Yeah, $5.2 million for bail. That's absolutely insane that he even has a bail.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But
Absolutely.
that's the law.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of different attacks going on in the world, let's move on to our next topic, ISIS. So ISIS fighters are believed to have attacked U.S. and Iraqi forces with a chemical weapon Tuesday evening. The U.S. base outside Kayara, 25 miles south of Mosul, came under rocket fire, and traces of a mustard agent were believed to be present, as reported by CNN. A number of U.S. troops were injured in the attack, and there were no signs of exposure shown by any U.S. troops, including the 2 soldiers who inspected the shell. The soldiers who were near the shell received a full decontamination treatment. Tuesday's assault is believed to be the first chemical attack on the U.S. forces in Iraq since they returned to the country in 2014. The ordnance and residue from the shell are being sent to Fort Detrick for processing to confirm chemical agent. Unlike mustard gas, which can spread, mustard agent leaves an oily residue behind. We will keep you updated as the story progresses.
This weekend, Sunday, September 25th, the first annual Earth Citizens 3K Walk will be held at Craig Regional Park in Fullerton. There will be a live DJ, an auction and raffle, food catered by Green to Go, as well as some homeopathic remedy activities. Join the organization and learn more about sustainable living and mindfulness to benefit not just our local environment, but our planet throughout the worldwide leadership and action.
An accounting expo was held last week at CSUF for accounting majors by the Mihalos School of Business Career Center. The students got a taste of the hiring process and the choices of private and government companies that they are able to apply. Reporter Medusha Palahia has a story.
The panel was basically made up of recruiters, so I thought it was a very insightful meeting right now. They gave us a lot of tips about our resume, kind of like about interview process, and just how to be a personal character with them, and basically just market yourself more as an undergraduate student.
Today we got a chance to be in contact with the recruiters, and they got to tell us, they gave us tips about resume and interview tips, and so all in all, it was a great experience.
With the Fullerton City Council elections coming soon, reporter Cassidy Jo Fortin asked Cal State Fullerton students how they felt about the election. Let's take a look.
I'm Cassidy Jo Fortin with Titan Communications, here at the Fullerton Public Library to meet with the candidates for City Council and the school board to hear what their views are on the social issues surrounding our community.
I feel passionately about strengthening the partnership between the colleges and universities in town. We have 4 of them now, and the city. I think that the colleges and universities are such a valuable asset for this community. I really feel like we are a college town, and we need to work closer together.
Local issues, local government is really the change agent to how you can change the things that are directly impacting you, right? I mean, this is the government that's going to be building, more businesses, more fun activities around your school. This is going to make sure the city that you live in, that you work in, that you go to school in, is going to cater more to you. So if you want to change things locally, that's how you make that change. And we're thinking about all these national issues and state issues. And you know what? I think about that too. But if you want to see the change the next day, the next week, and the next year, the local is what really matters, because this is our day-to-day lives, guys. I mean, this is...
Register to vote at ocvote.com/register.
Well, that does it for the second episode of The Report. I'm Nicholas Garcia.
I'm Michelle Gao.
I'm Evan Boydson.
And I'm Shaira Arias. Stay fresh, Fullerton.